Today I'm going to work on creating a quick how to install adjustable camber arms on your S chassis. This is going to be on my 240SX S13 chassis. It's going to be pretty much the same for any S chassis, including your S14 and S15. Pretty much they're all the same unless you have a high cast system, then it's going to have some minor differences, but still you can use this as a reference point. Ignore that I have adjustable camber arms already. I'm going to be swapping out these for new ones. You can use the same process for your OEM ones, it doesn't really matter. Since they have pretty much the same shape, it's going to be almost this identical process, if not identical. First thing you want to do is secure your car on jack stands after you lift it. Do not leave your car ever on your jack. It's not safe at all, so just don't do it. Always have jack stands. If you can, just leave a wheel under the car. I don't have right now, but I always tend to use that. And something I always tend to do is give my car a shake. So you can see it doesn't move at all. Always check your car and check if it's safe. Don't get under the car unless it's safe. I don't know how much I can state that, how unsafe it is to not check. As for tools, things you want to have on hand are all the tools you're going to need: a torque wrench, a breaker bar in case yours are pretty much stuck, safety glasses, safety always first, and I use this is nail polish. You can use marking pens or anything, any paint you can use. This is to mark after you torque everything down. That way you make sure you torqued it, and also you make sure if it does come loose in the future, you're aware that it's loose. Also, I recommend using gloves for any old chassis or any chassis that also you didn't get that dirty, or any fluids or chemicals or harmful chemicals on your hand. So first thing you're gonna do is remove the old arms, which is pretty simple. Just remove this bolt right here and this bolt right here. Should be pretty simple. In my case, it's if I'm mistaken, it's a 19 millimeter. Everything is metric on these cars, so it's pretty much easy and almost the same. If it is too tight, you can just use a breaker bar. After you have everything loose, in this case, these are very similar to the OEM ones, so you're gonna have to remove, at least loosen the shock tower, this bottom bolt, this one right here. There we go, already removed. Now, in my case, I'm not going to be using the OEM or even aftermarket eccentric bolts. I hate these. These are not good for adjustable arms. You can use them if you so desire, but I'm going to be using some eccentric lockout from GK Tech. You can check those out. So in my case, I'm going to be using SBL parts arms, so it's gonna be the same process for any brand you use. In my case, these use this type of locking system. You can see this type of system or jam nuts. Any style you use is going to be the same. Check your brand, your instruction manual to see how to secure them, but in this case, hopefully you have your OEM ones on hand. If not, I will do my best to post the measurements for these. So you're going to have to match your bolt holes to OEM ones. The reason you want this is so you can get as close to the OEM spec as possible. That way you can use that as a starting point, and then you can do your own alignment or get an alignment. Always get an alignment after you work on your suspension or install new components. You don't want to destroy tires, so it's always a must to get an alignment, even if you do it yourself or if you go to a shop to get it. But yeah, that's something you're gonna have to do with any adjustable arms. Match these and then you can get them installed. So a mistake I know a lot of people make is when they extend these, they don't extend them equally. Try to get them extended the same amount equally, not this one more than that one or vice versa. Try to get them extended equally and not overextended. Your brand should give you the safe length for them to be extended on both sides, or at least the total amount. You can go from there, but be sure to be safe with that and also get equal amount of length of thread engagement on both, so you can have that maximum adjustability. That's a mistake a lot of people make when it's time to make the alignment. They cannot align it properly. They have to remove it, start over again, and your shop is going to hate you. They might charge you more, or you're not going to get a good alignment if it's not a good shop. So be careful and make sure you do this correctly. So as I've said before, I will not be using the eccentric bolts. Any stock or eccentric bolts you want to use, you can use them. I won't. I will be using these GK Tech eccentric lockout ones. I will post a link in the description. These are 10.9. They lock out the position, and you can prevent any slippage, any misalignment that you might cause with spirited driving, track days, any performance driving. I recommend these. You can use the old ones if you so desire, but get these if you can. They're not really that expensive. There's a bunch of brands that make these. In my case, I go with GK Tech. They make all the products I want to use, so I use them. Also, make sure you have the correct hardware. In this case, SPO brings 10.9 grade. Just use a safe one if you don't, or reuse the OEM ones. If you feel that your old ones are not safe, do not reuse them and get newer appropriate grade ones. I'm gonna go into the grades. You should inform yourself better if you want to know which grades you should use. I prefer to use 10.9 as much as possible for suspension components. These are the ones SPL brings, so I'm going to be using those. As you can see, I've loosened the other arms. This is so you can get a better view, and also so it's easier to handle the adjustable arms. Now, in my case, the camber arm has it's directional. This portion right here is not flat. With this one, you can see a better view of that in my last vlog. I'll try to post like a little clip here so you can see what it is. But yeah, reinstallation for this one, in my case, is towards the front of the car, the crescent shape, and it should go towards the traction rod. Let me get this here. So reinstallation is just the reverse of removing them. Get them into the OEM bolt positions. The eccentric lockout kit or your eccentric bolts should go towards the spherical bushing side. So after installing these, just give it a quick hand tight for the moment until you get everything aligned. Now for this portion here, let me see if I can get it in view. Make sure which direction you put your bolt and your nut. I prefer torquing the bolts. I know there's always the discussion with that. I always torque down the bolts, not the nut. So I try to get the best space I can, you know, the clearance I want for the bolt side, and just use a close-ended wrench for the bolt nut side, sorry. After you've got them installed, just align these and torque them down. In this case, SPL has a torque spec. I'll post that in the video, but I also post the FSM in case your bolt doesn't bring instructions. You can just use the FSM if you're reusing the OEM bolts. And this is your end result. After you're done torquing them, remember to mark your bolts. I'll post a picture of how it should be done, just so you know if they're torqued and if they have any slipping or loosening at all. So I'm going to start working on the toe arm and the traction arm for the next video. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't. Let me know if you want any quick how-tos so I can work on them. Thanks for watching.